not because of the economic crisis. It's because they're simply mismanaged. Any company is going to fail if the leader at the top is not.
All right, I am queued up.
In managing and tending the store. That's all I've done for 34 years. I've built over 1 million systems. I'm profitable, and I'm going to be here for you. I'm not going to let you down. I am a boring guy. Just ask my wife. All I do is work. 5 in the morning till about 8 o'clock at night. I do my own ads. You hear me all the time. I buy American. I install American. I am not political. I want to build for you, and I'm going to be here for you. Whether it's a roof, a solar power system, a backup home battery, or a simple backyard fence. I want to build for you and build right. I'm with Peterson Dean. Give me a call. Here's my number. 888-389-1249. 888-389-1249. Or petersondean.com. I care about my customers. 888-389-1249. 888-389-1249. CSLB 468-117.
Southland weather from KFI. We're going to see lots of clouds tonight. There's a slight chance of a little patchy drizzle. Lows 70s. And only a little bit cooler despite more cloud cover tomorrow. Beach highs 70s to near 80. 80s and 90s for the metro area.
Look at that. You can see the reflection of the TV and the computer right there.
98 both those days. Right now it is 78 degrees in Brea, 78 in Lake Forest. Computer is up in Burbank, and 83 degrees in Leading local from KFI's 24-hour newsroom, I'm Michael Shapiro.
It looks like we're coming to a stop out here. The door is open. This guy is getting out of the vehicle. What? Oh, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. Yeah, this is not going to end very well.
That's why I'm voting for Eric Garcetti.
Super Hyper Local Sunday with Brian Suits on KFI.
KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday, hour number 2. Brian Suits in here until 10 p.m. And we are going live on the YouTube. If you go to Dark Secret Place on YouTube, or you can fast track your way there just by going to unsheepyourself.com. Like you're a sheep and you want to not be a sheep, you unsheep yourself. So go to unsheepyourself.com and you go right to the Dark Secret Place YouTube page, and we're streaming live right there. So yeah, yesterday was a record, a 131-year-old record, and that's why they keep records, so they can be broken. By the way, it's not a one-day high is not evidence of global warming. Folks, it's hot out there in L.A. How hot, may you ask? This is from LAist.com. A 131-year-old heat record, hot. That's how much. Downtown L.A. reached 96 degrees Saturday, breaking the 95-degree record set in 1886. Now, might I express a little bit of surprise on that? I'm a little lowballed on that. I mean, you're telling me that in 131 shots at July 7th, 95 was it? And I'm assuming that like August 1 or whatever, that's at some point, obviously, clearly it's crested 100 degrees in downtown LA and all that. But it just seems to me that July 7th, 100 years ago, or July 7th, 131 years ago, at some point on a July 7th, you'd think that every high between, say, June 28th and August 28th, that every record for every date of the calendar would be over 100 degrees. But I don't know. I'm no Mark Thompson. Summer 2017 has seen a number of heat waves, but the current baking temperatures are expected to cool off a bit Sunday. And they did because of the clouds. But the clouds brought at my house is the humidity. And you know what? I'll take 10 more degrees with the dry heat so that swamp coolers and fans and things like that work better than the humidity. But anyway, the humidity showed up. As old as the 131-year-old record is, it's not the oldest standing record in L.A. According to the National Weather Service, the oldest record is from March 28th, 1879. So again, this is 1879. Internal combustion engines don't exist yet. Steam engines and trains, coal-burning trains, that version of steam power, that exists, but internal combustion, factories exist, but it's March 28th, 1879. The record from March 28th, 1879, which still stands, is 90 degrees. Apparently, 1879 was a sweltering year for LA. Several high-temperature records still stand from that year. And I'm not, you know what, that's triggering something in the back of my mind. Daisy, can you look up the Los Angeles Massacre? I want to say 1879 was the year that the white and Hispanic residents rose up and lynched a bunch of Chinese gang members. And in the New York Times, they gave LA its first nickname, Blood-Soaked Eden. And I'm not sure what year that, I want to say it was that we're in the neighborhood there. And so I'm not saying it's causal, I'm just saying that LA of 1879, lots of wacky stuff happened. Yeah, 1871, I overshot by 8 years. Yeah, read about that. Because some Chinese gang members had fired indiscriminately into Mexican American and white American Angelinos, as Eric Garcetti would say, and as I said back then. And so it wasn't all. That's the thing, is that it was natives. It wasn't immigrants. It was Honky McGill, and it was Mexican Americans and native Alta Californians who saw what was called the Yellow Peril at the time and shot him up. And this was on the First in Alameda. This is what is right downtown LA today. That's where that happened in 1871. Do we have the high temperature for that day? Does Wikipedia, did anyone think to get the temperature that day in 1870, a tragic day in 1871? I'm not sure, but anyway, 90 degrees for March 28th, 1879. Here, the blood-soaked. Well, I have a couple of problems with anthropomorphic global warming. And one of them is there's several questions I ask people who are self-professed, global warming activists or knowledgeable or whatever. And I always ask them, has the Earth ever been warmer than now? A lot of people don't know it has been. They don't know. And I ask them, well, then how did the polar bears survive the medieval warming period? A lot of people don't know that wine grapes were grown in Britain. When Chaucer wrote Canterbury Tales, he writes about growing his own grapes for wine. There were farms in Greenland. As the Greenland ice cap recedes but thickens in the middle, it's revealing medieval farms on Greenland. It was warmer in the past. Yeah. And as it turns out, the Earth's temperature, climatology, is cyclical and probably in all likelihood more affected by the sun than by human-created CO2. By the way, folks, there has been more CO2 in the past in the atmosphere. And in Al Gore's scary graphs, he omits one pretty significant thing, and that is that temperature has never gone up after CO2 has gone up in measured history, which we get through ice cores. CO2 goes up after the temperature's gone up, so CO2 doesn't drive that. And then finally, last thing, whenever I talk to the Gavin Newsoms of this world, and I ask them what percentage of the Earth's atmosphere is CO2, if they know, then they use a trick. They discuss it in terms of parts per million. They go, well, it's 385 parts per million. Expressed as a percentage, that's 0.03%. And you can even round up and be nice and say 0.04%. 0.04% of the Earth's atmosphere is CO2. Every scientist agrees on that. That is provable, and you can set up your own independent experiment. That's what's the definition of science. It's provable via experimentation. Everybody agrees that CO2 presently is 0.0385% of the atmosphere. But you'll hear people say, well, it's 385 parts per million. And say, okay, that means nothing. Help me out with a percentage there. So everyone understands percentage, but they don't do that. And when they go to, seminars on how to approach people like me in the media about global warming propaganda, they always tell them never express CO2 as a percentage because people raise their eyebrows. Because if you ask the average human being, the average person on the street, what percentage of the Earth's atmosphere is CO2, they'll say, I don't know, like 20%. People are blown away when you discover that it's 0.03%. So anyway. And yes, it's like I say, it's been warmer in the past. And again, I'm not blaming warm temperatures for the Los Angeles massacre of 1871. But we don't know. It might have been too cool that day. We don't know. We'll be back right after this Super Hyperlocal Sunday. It's also Super Hyperlocal History Day here on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. Michael Chappé with the news.
Price of gasoline stayed almost flat for the past couple of days in Southern California, almost a whole week. The average cost of a gallon of regular unleaded went up less than 1 cent.
Little history lesson tonight.
Orange County and down less than 1 cent in the Inland Empire. Funeral services apparently pending for
For all of y'all.
The LA Times says Miriam Marks Allen died June 29th in Capistrano Beach, Orange County. She was 90. Buffalo, New York has an
By the way, they turn off the AC on the weekends in here, so it's like hot as balls. So can you see? I wonder if I can do this, and you can see. Can you see? Oh yeah, trying to get that mirror effect. Go on Amazon and look for the Baofeng UV5R, BAOFENG, Baofeng UV5R, Uniform Victor numeral 5 Romeo. Well, I am. Actually, you can't see it, but from the waist down, I actually am in a kiddie pool. I'm in one of those turtles with the slide. Ooh. Then I got to turn around tomorrow and come in and do Military Monday. Nope. You know why it's not possible? Because a conspiracy that big can't be hidden. This is what's so funny is that conspiracy theories like that are always authored by people who've never actually been in government. And they actually believe movies and things. They believe like Jason Bourne movies, where the enemy always turns out to be some rogue element of the CIA. But no. Sadly, 9/11 was perpetrated exactly by who it appeared to be. 19 guys who adhered to a sect of Sunni Islam that called for violent attacks on the West because they felt it was attacking their religion. That's the point of Al-Qaeda. And besides, by the way, I mean, please help me out. If Bush, Cheney, Halliburton were so good at conspiracies, wouldn't we have found weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? I mean, I know we did. That's what's all the more ridiculous about it, is that what we did have, the nuclear stuff, the chemical stuff, Bush never made a big deal about it. But if they really were that good at setting up a conspiracy, wouldn't we have found a gigantic palace full of nuclear weapons and chemical weapons and all that to slam dunk why we invaded Iraq? I mean, that was internationally embarrassing that all the promised WMD that France, Germany, Russia, the entire UN Security Council was there, and even Saddam thought he had, that it turned out not to be there. So that was wildly embarrassing. Wouldn't we have planted that? Just a thought. How long do we have? Oh, okay, I'll get it. I'm not a structural engineer. All I know is that no credible engineer has ever said anything except that whatever it was, WTC3 was so weakened by the fact that two gigantic, some of the world's tallest buildings just collapsed next to it, creating locally a 5.0 Richter scale earthquake twice. So, and it weakened it fatally. So, hey, does anyone have a bumper suggestion? It has to be LA related.
No one knows air conditioning like GOE, TTL. Contractor license 10-23-790. Southern California, listen up. You've heard lots of lawyer commercials. Graduate of Berkeley and UCLA, we are well known for our psychotically aggressive approach to business and real estate lawsuits. Whether you're dealing with fraud, breach of contract, a corrupt or mismanaged
That's the thing. There are not thousands of climatologists that have definitively connected human activity, human-created CO2 to global warming. Because of that 0.03% of the Earth's atmosphere that's CO2, do you know what percentage human beings are responsible for? Less than 1/1000th of that. So help me out there. And also, by the way, any climatologist that isn't honest enough to say that is just in it for the money. That's kind of the bottom line, is that they're getting funding to validate the theories of non-scientists. All right, we're going to do... We're going to do Story of My Life. I love LA. No, they don't. No, the hottest years in history are in our past. The hottest years in history were in 1210 and 1350 and 1410. Look into it. It's called the medieval warming period. That's ludicrous. And you don't have to be a scientist to read that, by the way. Yes, it was warmer in the past, and yes, there was more CO2 in the atmosphere in the past. And somehow the polar bears survived. So, sorry, the hottest years in history do not continue to ping off. And by the way, the measurement stations have remained in place for the past 100 years while the world has urbanized closer to them. So there's that. Oh, Led Zeppelin, going to California. You know what? That's a good call. Not right now, though. Got to do Social Distortion. KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Brian sits in here live until 10 p.m. and live streaming on the YouTube at Dark Secret Place. Where you can, by the way, you can get on there and you can ask me questions and I can answer them or I can ignore them. So we'll get to the two women. Violent takeover bank robbery in North Hills by a pair of chicks. And a really, really curious kidnapping just to kick off the weekend. We'll get to that. This is not super hyper local, but it is really, really curious. I'd never heard of this. But then again, you know, in a world where we do graduation ceremonies for first grade, then it shouldn't surprise me that there are parties to reveal the gender of your kid. This one went tragically awry when gunmen broke it up. 1 killed, 8 hurt in shooting at a pregnant woman's gender reveal party in Ohio. I had never heard of this, so I guess this is a new thing. It's another excuse, I guess, to have a baby-related party. And producer Daisy, are gifts expected? Is this another way to get gifts out of people?
Yeah, it's a gender reveal party, right?
Yeah. But what do you know? So if you guess wrong, you take it back and you bring it back to the baby shower or whatever. Yeah. Is that the protocol? It has to be a cake? And of course, there's no wrong choice. So what's the point of the party? I guess I don't want to impose roles on Chris, who could be a boy or a girl. Well, anyway, we're all laughing about this. Well, this one in Cincinnati, it was tragic. A 22-year-old woman was found dead at the scene of a home invasion near Cincinnati, where 2 gunmen opened fire, wounding 8, including 3 children and a pregnant woman who had revealed the gender of her child at a party last night. Coleraine Township Police Chief Mark Denny said at a news conference Sunday that none of the 8 people wounded appeared to have life-threatening injuries, including the children, who were 8, 6, and 2. The dead 22-year-old has been identified as Autumn Garrett. The two gunmen fled on foot, haven't been identified or arrested. He wouldn't discuss details of the investigation. The pregnant woman was shot in the leg. She told WXIX-TV that she lost her child after being shot in the leg. Well, not a robbery. They just came in and started shooting. Yeah, and by the way, I forgot about the statistic. Something like more than 90% of pregnant women who are killed by the father of the child. That's I ain't pointing fingers. I'm just saying there's that statistic. Yeah, she lost the kid after being shot in the leg. So that's odd to me that she would miscarry for being shot in the leg. But anyway, that's what she told WXIX-TV. The gunman opened fire with handguns in the living room of the house where friends and family had gathered for a party where the pregnant woman announced the gender of her unborn child. There were no indications of forced entry by the gunman who entered the house through the front door. The police chief said, "We don't know if they were targeted or this was intended for someone else." So again, the dead 22-year-old woman was not the pregnant woman, and the pregnant woman was shot in the leg and she lost her kid. So I guess not. They came in, shot, and left. No. So a really, really bizarre story, but I think I know where it lands, and that's one of the gunmen had to have a connection either to the dead woman or the pregnant woman. So that was in Cincinnati. That's not a LA crime. LA, I'm not saying we're not up to that. It's just that not this weekend. LA police are searching for two women after the pair allegedly did a takeover robbery at a Chase Bank at gunpoint in the North Hills on Friday. The robbery occurred around noon at a Chase in the 9100 block of Sepulveda. The women were, quote, extremely violent, close quote, during the incident, ordered victims inside the bank to the floor, and committed a takeover robbery, according to LAPD press release. I saw some video caps on that, and one of the women, she's got like shooting gloves on. They had baseball caps on, but they weren't hiding their faces, but apparently they came in just totally gangsta, just like whatever, right out of Heat, right out of an R-rated movie, nothing, and or maybe even something on Netflix, and did a violent yelling at everybody, get the F down, takeover robbery. Yesenia Gomez, a Chase Bank customer, said she narrowly escaped being caught up in the melee with the doors locked by the time she arrived. The women allegedly fled the scene after the robbery. Police set up a search perimeter between Tupper and the 405 and Burnett Avenue and Nordhoff. It was unclear how the women were able to make such a clean getaway while the location's doors were sealed. Police did not say whether a getaway car was involved. One suspect is described as a black woman last seen wearing purple gloves, a white T-shirt, black yoga pants, a baseball hat, and sunglasses. And yes, you heard that right. If only radio had a DVR function where you could rewind, but that's okay. I do. Black woman, purple gloves, white T-shirt, black yoga pants, a baseball hat, and sunglasses. For people who don't know, like when John and Ken called Garcetti yoga pants are those extremely sheer. They're not like running tights. Yeah, they're those really sheer things. And so the one woman's wearing those for her robbery outfit. The other woman, I'm not sure what the descriptor on her was, but the woman in the yoga pants is shown in surveillance footage carrying a bag with black and white stripes and a pink bottom that was used for stolen cash. The other suspect, who was allegedly armed with a handgun, is described as a black woman last seen wearing black gloves, a white T-shirt, tan baseball hat, sunglasses, and black yoga pants. So the yoga pants bank robbers. I have not. This would stand out if this MO was used before. I would have remembered the yoga pants bank robbers, and also they got away with little or no, with a pretty cold trail. They don't know where they went. Here's the problem: if they were smart, they would not be screaming and brandishing and waving guns, because that's how you get the FBI to sit up and take notice. Because the unfortunate, well, not unfortunate, but the untold truth these days is that bank robberies for cash, if a trigger isn't pulled or someone is not assaulted, beaten, or whatever, if they just come in and get cash and leave, the FBI, honestly, they have loads of those. There's a huge unsolved rate on those because the FBI just, unless it turns into what could be a string of robberies, they don't really pay a lot of attention. This, they're going to pay attention. This was very high profile, and it was a violent takeover. So, ladies, you just might have won yourselves a couple of special agents looking right down your yoga pants. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Brian Suits in here until 10 p.m. on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. Michael Chappé with the news. Yeah. Mexico fans chanted the gay slurs in San Diego today and Seattle last week. Oh, they're doing that puto thing? I didn't hear about the McDonald's thing. Yeah, you know what? This is natural to do a co-broadcast, a live broadcast. I don't know why this is not a requirement, here or other places. I'm kind of, I don't tell the boss how to do radio. Yeah, if you, are you saying subscribe to Dark Secret Place? Yes, subscribe to Dark Secret Place. So I am going to start, what Facebook is going to do when I start doing a live Facebook weekly show, is we're also going to have a gaming component, because I'm partnering with guys who currently do a lot of game streaming. You want to see the board? The big impressive board here at KFI. There it is. I've worked a lot of places in radio that are really amazing, just amazing tech and beautiful facilities and everything. This is so old school. This is what cracks me up, is that people would cut a pinky off to work at KFI. When they get here, they find the board like this. Dump switch, flip cover, missing knob. It's all worn out. You see that there. It's all chipped and all this shit. It's funny. It's funny when you see the wear and tear on that board. Because I've worked in some beautiful radio stations that have nothing to say. So this here's the problem. Because of all the different air personalities, especially in the morning, there's so much filth in this thing. It's just gross. Really, really gross. I actually, it's everybody's. Everyone falls in on the same mic flag. Yeah, boys are really gross. That's what I tell my daughter all the time. Actually, I am. Yeah, I joined E. Clampus Vitus up in Modesto in 1995. So I am a clamper. I haven't had any connection with him since then, though. So I should get more active, because I'm all about I'm all about California history. I would even go through the Los Angeles. We'll do that. I would even go through the initiation again. I did the initiation at Folsom because the guy who was the chapter president was the assistant warden at Folsom. No shit. So we did the canon and everything outside of fucking Folsom. It was crazy. How much time do we have? Oh, okay. I'm good. All right, we'll play X. We will play X Los Angeles. Yep. The minute that they have, 10 to 20, then they get to call the shots. Oh, drink of choice? Delicious, fresh spring water. These are the industry standard. The Sony MDR V6s, these are the industry standard headphones. From the music industry to radio, everybody gets these. All that Beats bullshit, all that, no. These are them. Period. Full stop. All right, here's X, everybody, on KFI. KFI, M640 more stimulating talk. It is a Dark Secret day after. It's called Super Hyper Local Sunday because we catch you up on everything that happened from Friday to right now here in the Southland, including some fires that went a little north of our boundary, our notional boundary of Santa Barbara, because there's 19 million people that live south of Santa Barbara. Really weird kidnapping right before as the week ground to a close last week. And I smelled a rat right off the bat. When a woman was accused of carjacking her friend's car, the woman was identified as a 31-year-old woman. Then they put up a mugshot of the 31-year-old woman. Not hard to look at, well, to say euphemistically. And they put up an Amber Alert for the 16-year-old son that was in the back seat or in the front seat or something. And that Amber Alert, by the way, was on until, my wife was getting it on Saturday. If you, on your Android or iPhone device, if you go to notifications and you scroll all the way to the bottom, it says Amber Alerts off or on. I disabled mine because I'm a bad guy. But I don't like that sound it used to make. Remember that sound it used to make? If you had your phone, if you didn't have your phone on silent, it made this sound. But anyway, so an Amber Alert was issued. But I smelled a rat. Everyone smelled a rat. Anyway, LAPD on Friday lifted the Amber Alert and said detectives now believe, quote, there was no crime, close quote, after finding the woman who had been suspected of carjacking a vehicle with a 16-year-old boy inside. LAPD officer Rosario Herrera said that Candace Johnson and the vehicle she allegedly took from a South LA street were found in San Bernardino. While the 16-year-old boy they had been told was in the backseat of the car had not been found, detectives now believe, quote, he was not abducted and there was no crime, said Officer Herrera. Herrera added that the situation remained under investigation. But I don't. From the outside looking in, something was really, really hinky about that. It didn't come across as your standard sort of Amber Alerty kind of kidnapping. And, well, I guess the car is still in the 909 or something. I don't know, but a 16-year-old boy, and they didn't say anything about he was mentally challenged or physically incapable or whatever. It was like an able-bodied 16-year-old boy drives off with a 31-year-old woman. That was the original story. But then I saw her picture, and then I remembered when I was 16, and I'm drawing too many inferences here. It's just that when police back off, when they get the full story, when police back off, then my speculometer starts going crazy. It would, if in fact such a thing happened. Yeah. So there's that. Also, do you know that Amber Alerts are not supposed to be issued for custody battles? Those are, down here in California, those are half of them or more. But I mean, in the original law, they're not to be issued for custody battles because 99% of the time, those are resolved pretty quickly. The other 1% we've seen play out here in the Southland over the last 2.5 months, with our Mazad Andresian Jr. Being murdered by his dad after a custody dispute. But point in fact, when that kid was overdue, they didn't issue an Amber Alert. Even though I don't know what the criteria is, if you're 1 minute overdue, 12 hours overdue, or whatever, but he missed a Skype appointment, and the mother didn't alert authorities, so I don't know if that could have been an Amber Alert immediately. No idea. If the mother had the right to call police and say, look, he missed a Skype call, he's not letting me contact my son, I'm freaked out, then they flipped the Amber Alert thing. But we never got an Amber Alert for that kid. So I don't know if someone wants to look into that and get me an answer, but I don't know if there is an answer to get. I'm just saying the way it works, if that Skype call had been missed and the boy was over 12 hours overdue on the handoff back to the mom, an Amber Alert with the vehicle, a descriptor of the father and all that might have averted what has turned out to be a really horrible story. I have never gone to this Hollywood Forever Cemetery movie things, but apparently this is a big, huge deal and it's a lot of fun. On Thursday, this is from the LAist again, guest to the, is it Cinespia or Cinespia? The Cinespia movie screenings at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery have been prohibited. Guests have been prohibited from bringing their own booze, according to spokespersons at Cinespia. The California State Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control had placed a temporary restriction. The agency has changed its mind. Guests are once again allowed to bring their own beer and wine. John Carr, a spokesperson for the California Alcohol Beverage Control, told the LA Times that the agency had made the decision late Thursday to reverse its ruling. It remains unclear what had led the ABC to change their decision on the ban of outside alcohol. And while neither the ABC nor Cinespia has stated what led to the ban in the first place. But anyway, apparently I've heard nothing but good things about getting all hooched up in a cemetery full of famous dead people and watching a movie. And then I don't know, what movies do they show? Is it themed? Is it somehow themed on the dead people? And they don't like foul the graves or something, right? Oh, I guess that is what the deal was, wasn't it? Yeah. You know what? One of the weirdest movie things that they do is on Beechwood. If you're going up to the Hollywood sign, the dumb touristy way, and you're not going past the reservoir where the illegal dog park is that everyone takes their awesome dogs to. If you're going to see the Hollywood sign at Beechwood, you pass through these arches of an old 1920s housing development there. Beautiful old houses up Beechwood. Phenomenal old Hollywood things, right? Well, this actress hung herself on the L, on the first L, or the H. I mean, Yeah, yeah, and I mean this is more Brian's random L.A. history that people don't know. A failed actress hung herself, and and Daisy can look this up. I'm gonna take a while to say it was the H, but she actually hung herself on the Hollywoodland sign. And so once a year, that neighborhood on Beechwood, they show the one. She made one movie. She made a movie like in 1928. Of course, it's silent, it's horrible. And it's really boring, but people watch it once a year on the anniversary that she croaked herself on the Hollywood sign. They watch that movie on Beechwood. It is totally macabre. It really is. I mean, and why sit through a crappy movie that makes you want to kill yourself? It's Peg Untwistle, that's right. And so it's an annual observation there in the neighborhood. Yeah, does it say? It was the H. Yeah, and why not? Why not? Either it's heaven or hell to her. So anyway, yes, more LA history here on Super Hyper Local Sunday. Sort of a gift to all of ye. Brian sits in here one more time until 10 p.m. KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. Michael Chapin with the news. I need to make some really lame like history intro or something, or like obscure history. I mean, who doesn't know about Peg Ontwistle, right? Now you all know. My show prep, it's like walk in, print shit, fill this, and do a radio show. You know the key is, and this is what people who get into radio, they don't quite get this, but you have to stay connected all day long. You have to watch the news all day long because you have to be able to connect events. No, the mic is off. The fucking mic is off, so I don't fucking give a shit. I'm not afraid of swearing. It's YouTube. Radio? No, it's weird. It's a weird tiring. You know, it's like mentally tiring. Like when I get home, it's I'm tired mentally. But like with Twitter, you know, there's so many feeds, like the breaking news feed on Twitter. So you can get really good. You know, you can keep up to date on things. So no, I'm not worried about a lot. I'm unlike other radio hosts. I turn my own goddamn microphone on and off. I don't trust, that guy to do it for me. You wouldn't want that. It's the board up. He talks back to me. And I have this turned down. By the way, I'm on Kennedy on Fox Business tomorrow, so this is the big reveal of my new haircut. So I got rid of all that crap on the sides. I might go like this. I might cut this straight back. I don't know. How does he sound? You know, he's in his 50s, gray hair. Sam Cooke was totally naked. He was totally nude when the hotel manager shot him. Because a woman had run out, and he was chasing her. Was it funny to work with another young lady named after a president? Well, I got news for you, neglected T-Rex. Me and Kennedy have been friends since K-Rock in 1992. And we did a show right here on KFI called Kennedy in Suits. All right, last bumper.
of men who were polled say they were just doing what they had to do. 71% of women disagree and think that this is
Oh, I know what it is. It's gonna be rank and file conductor War Black.
or maybe just prove your point. Now you can
What hit?
ask it by downloading Zip, the question answer app, in the App Store.
I don't like compromise.
What are you talking about?
I don't want to just eat my underwear every other set until it becomes part of my routine. Solution? Refill by revolutionwear.com.
Yeah, the dead hand thing. And it's misused. Dead hand on a train, means that the throttle comes back to idle. Then there's this myth that the dead hand for nuclear weapons means that if there's no one to make a decision, it defaults to launch everything. And that's probably a myth. All right, I am queued up. Also, it's really important, I think, in radio to always credit, your producer, your newsman, your board op, and all that. I don't tell other people how to do radio. I just know that that's a courtesy. The best Prince song, it's really hard to find, is Pussy Control. Pussy Control is my absolute favorite Prince song of all time. It's a great song. Phenomenal song. Or it's like bussing the tip boy.
Comfort is something we all want to feel. No one knows this better than Serta, America's #1 mattress manufacturer. This July 4th, discover Serta's all-new mattress collections. Experience our latest iComfort sleep system and get a free box spring or save up to $800 on an adjustable set. Or find the right perfect sleeper mattress from as low as $399 on supplies last. Offers fit at participating retailers. Find a local retailer at CertaRetailers.com. Experience Serta Comfort today at In-Home Furniture Gallery Inc. in Victorville or at the Sleep Shop in Agora Hills, City Valley, and Ventura.
iHeartRadio does something no other app or website can do. Thousands of live radio stations you can take anywhere. Want to listen to that station in Denver like you were in Philly?
IDK means I don't know, I guess.
Seattle, no problem. Plus,
Ich weiß nicht in German.
just type in the artist you love and iHeartRadio creates a station just for you.
No. In fact, they should be requiring it for everybody else. 45 in a heartbeat. Even 45 hardball, because I've seen those wounds as a ER tech at the University of Washington Medical Center. I saw 9mm wounds and I saw 45 caliber wounds, and then I saw them all in Iraq. And I'm here to tell you, sorry, 45. I carry a 45. I only own one 9mm pistol.
Listen, they're 0-4 in elections.
A Steyr M9.
Democrats still believe that the House will play next year. This is an indication, though.
And a 45, like, hollow point, like a Hornady, a VMAX 45, sorry, it's over. Who doesn't love rank and file? Honestly. On this train, the conductor wears black. I'm singing along. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk, because we're having we're group bumpering on YouTube Live, and I'm lying on that. I'm not taking anyone's opinion on what should be a bumper. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk, super hyperlocal Sunday, and some LA Uber news is going to affect ye. The promised addition of an in-app tipping option for Uber rolls out today in a few dozen American and Canadian cities, including LA. It will be live nationwide by the end of July. Also today, nationwide, if you're going to get charged a fee every time you make a driver wait longer than 2 minutes for you to get in the car after they arrive, which almost defeats the purpose of Uber. That's really, really dumb. That's one of the things that I love about Uber is, oh, geez, I'm late. You look on the Uber app, and somebody is 2 minutes away. And if anything, you're going to miss them. You get downstairs, boom, there they are. Who makes people wait, an Uber driver wait more than 2 hours? 2 minutes. You know what I don't like about Uber is that they don't have a way to do this. If it's like, oh man, I forgot a thing, can you come pick me up? And then when we get there, I'm going to run in and get it, and then you just drive me back to my destination. They don't do that. They have to close out the trip, and then you have to open up the app again and hopefully find them in the parking lot or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. He's burning gas, and he could be making money, and the whole thing. So anyway, they're going to charge you for making them wait, and you can tip them. Well, I just, if they're good, I give them like 5 stars, and I say, great guy, good conversation. Yeah, it's like, don't go swimming after a big meal. Okay, there's your tip. All right, but whatever. If it's good, if they take they want to take the shortest route. They're not like a cab. Yeah, and so they want to get you out of there fast. And what I like is that if I like the drivers where if you don't talk, they don't talk. I like that. You don't talk, they don't. That's the rule. But if you're with an Uber driver and they start in with, boy, isn't that something there in Belgium last week with, it's just, I'm sitting here looking at my phone and you're making me stop and I'm just trying to live my life here. Hey, real quick, obligatory sports break with the Doyers' #1 fan, Josh Saylor. At this point, Josh Saylor, would you bet any amount of money, $1 or $100, that the Doyers and the Astros will meet in the World Series? Would you bet $1 or would you bet $100? The Doyers now have the best record in all of Major League Baseball, and also this is their best record ever at Midway. Yeah. Runs wise and slugging and all that, yeah, it's very impressive. Yeah, and again, and we've seen this year after year. Clayton Kershaw again is masterful all through the summer. Today, 99 pitches, complete game. It was an amazing game. We all know he has it in him. It's terrific, but he doesn't have the one thing that Bumgarner has. Gotta get the World Series. You gotta get that. No, and like I say, when it's I throw up a little in my mouth when I praise the Dodgers, but Madison Bumgarner, the ace of aces and a lefty, just like Clayton, an awesome lefty, screwed his entire team by having a motocross accident. So screw him, and I canceled my MLB season ticket plan and all that for watching the Giants, and I love Los Gigantes, but I gotta say, with grudging respect, this is really an amazing Dodger team. It really, really is, and I say this as an enemy of the Dodgers. And so this is I gotta say, Clayton Kershaw deserves to go in that pantheon. If frickin' Lincecum has Cy Youngs at World Series, and now what's he doing? He's selling bongs in Santa Monica or something. Yeah, but the world would be hard pressed to make an excuse why Clayton Kershaw does not have a World Series ring the day he retires. So if they can't do it this year, this is kind of where the pressure comes. If they can't do it this year, holy shnikey, what is wrong? You got Sergio Romo. He's giving you your best. But anyway, the Doyers are on track to meet the Astros in the World Series. The Dodgers are just absolutely hitting on all cylinders, and it kills me to say that, but at least I'm honest. Damn it. All right, that's Super Hyperlocal Sunday for the 9th of July. I'll be back here with Bill Handel for Military Monday tomorrow morning. Thanks to producer Daisy and Josh, the world's biggest Doyers fan, and Michael Chappé. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with Bill Handel for Military Monday on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
No shame, no fear, no filter. Bill Handel,
Boom.
a true original.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys have contract stipulations. Don't get on a motorcycle.
I guess not. All right, see you next Sunday.
Hollywood's lost a young actor. I'm Michael Chappé, live from the 24-hour KFI newsroom. True Bloods, Nelson Ellis has died. Ellis's manager confirmed the 20-year-old died of complications from heart failure. Ellis became famous for his flamboyant and outspoken gay character, Lafayette Reynolds, in HBO's popular vampire drama, True Blood. Creator Alan Ball called Ellis a singular talent whose creativity never ceased to amaze him. Ellis most recently appeared on CBS
All right.
documentary playing a
Andy moved the company. He moved ConnectPal to Florida,
See a whole lot more.
for tax reasons and all that. And also, it's not a very well kept secret, but Andy Dean is, secretly he's a Trump advisor. Andy's very tight with Trump. So he and I, there's been kind of a thing about that, but he's very tight with Trump. And he knows all about Trump's problems and his mistakes and all that, but Trump trusts him and trusts his judgment. So he's tight with Trump, and he's there in Florida. So that's all I can say about that. So, all right, I have to go home and get up early. So bye-bye.